Facebook has been paying a firm to malign TikTok, just like a jealous ex-girlfriend. And what did they do? They printed op-eds. They posted letters to the editor and major newspapers saying that, Meta is the kind of current punching bag, but TikTok is the real threat, especially as a foreign-owned app that is really sharing data that young teens are using. So yes, it's despicable that Facebook did this. It makes them out like a jealous ex. But the media took it, you guys. The media was happy to run with it. So who is to blame here? Who did the more bad thing?
Right.
I'm beginning to think that maybe corporations and the media are a bit corrupt.
You might be onto something.
Yeah, we might want to dig into that a little bit more.
This might be
you might need to rest after all these revelations.
I know. No, I'm like, my mind is just absolutely blown. It's almost as if.
That's like it's almost as if there might be some coordination between the two.
I know. Imagine that they're actually having dinner and having meetings, and like they get on the phone with each other and make this stuff happen. Like this is actually what's unfolding. I mean, this is why I put in the newsletter today, the Casablanca reference, shocked. I'm shocked to see that gambling is going on inside your establishment, because we all know that this is happening, but this campaign is pretty amazing. I mean, it's hilarious do they not think people are going to find this out? I just don't get it.
No, I don't think they think
I really don't. It's amazing to me. But the campaign included placing op-eds and letters to the editor in major regional news outlets, promoting dubious stories about alleged TikTok trends that originated on Facebook, and pushing to draw political reporters and local politicians into helping to take down its biggest competitor. These bare-knuckle tactics, it says, long commonplace in the world of politics, have become increasingly noticeable within a tech industry where companies vie for cultural reference and come at a time when Facebook is under pressure to win back users. So, of course, this delete Facebook hashtag has been trending. And I had to ask, who's using Facebook?
Your mom.
Well, that generation uses Facebook. Yes.
My mom.
Your mom.
I use
Facebook. David is of that generation. He uses Facebook.
I detest even if I have to, sometimes David will send me a link, and if it's a Facebook link, I'm like, yeah, I'm not opening that. I don't think I've
Okay,
opened
so then
Facebook
what will it take?
Years.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
What will it take to get our mothers off of Facebook? Because that's really
for Facebook to go down.
Push them to TikTok.
Yeah, that's exactly.
Well, I mean, we covered Facebook's quarterly earnings results, and it was in the toilet, right? I mean, they lost 500,000 users, and this is a huge concern for Facebook.
Yeah.
This is the first time in the company's history that they didn't have a growth in customers, and not only not a growth, a decline, and also exacerbated by the fact that they are not able to acquire any more companies of that size. Remember, they were able to grow by acquiring WhatsApp.
Yeah.
They bought
Instagram.
Instagram, right? So they're adding all of these additional users to their list by acquiring them. There's no way in the world Congress is going to allow them through monopoly status to acquire a TikTok.
Which they would love to, I'm sure.
Oh, absolutely. In fact, they tried to. I mean, they tried to buy Snapchat.
Yeah.
They were rebuked. They weren't able to buy Snapchat. Snapchat was like, no.
Comcast is the only one they allow to be a monopoly. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm studying the chat to see if my mom is here, because I'm going to be in big trouble for what
I see.
We all know that generation uses it.
Facebook is kind of a cesspool, but TikTok. My daughter's into TikTok, and she'll show me. She's like, "Oh, Dad, check this out. This is so funny. I think you'll like this one." And she'll show me a TikTok, and it's 5 seconds long, and there's 45 words on the screen, and it's by the time it's over, I'm like, I have no idea what just happened. I was like, she's like, isn't that funny? I was like, I don't even know what I looked at.
Yeah, my son Miles will walk up to me he'll be like, "Daddy, watch this," and I'm like, "What am I even seeing? What is that?" And he's like, "Oh, don't you see the cat that's doing this thing, and it's bouncing its head to this meme of that?" I'm like, "Okay."
Although I was wondering to myself, because the kids like it so much, and I'm like, I don't want to watch this. It's 30 seconds. So I'm like, do I have a shorter attention span than my son, who can watch these to see if they're funny? He has 30 seconds per post to see if that's funny. And I'm like, no, I don't have time for that.
I mean, I will scroll TikTok for an hour, and I'm like, oh my God, where'd that hour go? And I'm just like,
some people are brilliant with that stuff. It's like the old Vine. Yeah. People could make really funny stuff in 15 seconds, but a lot of them, Jennifer watches these more educational things, and it's all this text on the screen, and you got to pause, hold it and pause. I'm like, That's a horrible experience. But one thing I don't want to do is try to push our moms over there, because the first time I go to TikTok and see my mom singing "This milkshake brings all the boys to the yard" or something, like, lip syncing that, I don't want to see that.
Well, if you do find that, don't share it to me, because I mean, one, I don't open TikTok, and
mom,
two,
man.
I know
It's the same mom, but I don't want to see
All right,
that.
let's let the moms stay on Facebook then.
Yeah, please.
It's a good community for the moms. Yeah.
as long as they never discover Reddit, we're fine.
I just got a text from your mom.
From my mom?
She's like, I'm listening.
Yeah. No, and it's good for that. I mean, look, it's good for that community,
But
I guess.
is it that like
Maybe not,
they're
because that-
purposely manipulating what she gets to see? They know what it means to addict people of any generation. Like, I don't think we should say that, like, all right, fine, it's just for.
I'm wondering right now, like, how at fault Facebook is for my mom being QAnon.
Well, probably a lot, in fact. So we were both just reading, I finished it last night, this Nicole Perlroth book. She's an excellent journalist. She wrote a book about cyber attacks in the United States over the past 15, 20 years. She goes back in the 1980s. I mean, it's really exhaustive research that she spends with like different hacking communities and infiltrates them and works with them and understands them. Really good journalist. And she talks about, it's very easy to like discredit what Russia was doing. It was all Russia, Russia, Russia. But they did. Like, they set up proxy Facebook groups in like Texas specifically. They were feeding all sorts of like stuff about Hillary Clinton just to like stir the pot, because they supported Bernie Sanders. Like, their position as Russians were, we like Bernie and we like Trump, but we don't like Hillary. And they just wanted to stir the pot. And they set up fake groups. They set up fake Facebook groups. They posted all sorts of fake ads that about, Hillary was going to take your guns and all this, and like all sorts of fake news and stuff. And you had people then were resharing that stuff, like resharing all of this fake news. But it wasn't, of course, just Russia. It was Cambridge Analytica. It was all of that stuff. It was all of those people involved in the, spreading of misinformation, disinformation. And there's people that were sitting there on Facebook like, oh my God, literally Hillary is going to come to my house and take my kids away?
There's a journalist, and I don't have the article in front of me right now. It's been several years, but there's a journalist that looked into the anti-vax movement on Facebook and was able to trace about 90% of all anti-vax information back to 10 people, just 10 people, and they all sell nutritional supplements. And so you've got like all of this misinformation out there, but they're pumping it to ultimately sell their nutritional supplements.
And this journalist also tracked a huge portion of this anti-vax publications on Facebook back to this Russian proxy group
in Ukraine.
In Ukraine,
there was
that too. Yep. So
they're
it was like,
and it's like they just enjoy it. It's like, just how do we stir the pot in America? And actually, this group said they were stunned that Americans actually fell for it. They're like, really? They fell and their people would share it. Like, can you believe that Hillary Clinton literally eats pig hearts? And they're
and they found like a lot of these memes that get around the like the political memes. There was I don't know if it was the same journalist or another journalist where they tracked it back to like this PR firm in Indonesia that was behind like a lot of these. So it's like when that's why, like, because anytime somebody shows me like the meme that's like a picture with a bunch of facts on it, I'm like, I immediately don't believe it. Just like that's my default is when I see a picture with facts on it, I'm like, I do not believe this.
No.
Like, just by default.
Yeah.
Those are words to live by.
We don't have any media that tells us the truth. So it's like everybody's so desperate to find information. And it's like, if we had a media that like reported the truth and, actually did
blocked.
news again, you could have some semblance of, okay, this is what's going on. And you could because people get behind these one issue things and they plant their flag on that issue. So it's like, then that's their mission is to teach everybody about that issue. And the media eggs that on the government propaganda eggs it on.
It's like the "Don't Say Gay" bill. Like, nowhere in that bill does that say that, at all. And so reporters just regurgitate that kind of stuff, and the media foments it. And you're right. And it takes shows like this, I hope, independent media, that we're not bought and sold by billionaire corporations. We don't make any money from billionaires running our show, that we get to cover these stories and hopefully break them down so people are more informed about it. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Also, we have a membership program. For the price of a cup of coffee once a month, you can support independent journalism just by going to morninginvest.com/join.
You get access to exclusive videos, plus the ability to join and chat with us live. We really appreciate your subscription, and you are supporting independent journalism.